noon, good night, depending on your location. We are happy to be on your screens, on your gadgets, on your iPhones, tablets, and all your gadgets, and of course, TV this evening, this morning. We believe that it is an opportunity for us to learn, an opportunity for us to receive information that will help us make informed decisions, even as we get ready to get married, and or even if we are married, as to how to go about things. We are so happy that you chose to be with us this evening. We bless God so much. Very well informed and practical counselors in our time. As a matter of fact, he's a well sought after speaker when it comes to the topic marriage. We are so happy to have him this evening with us, and we only deem it as an opportunity. And before we continue, I want to say thank you to all our viewers all over the world. We want to say thank you to operators and owners of Faith Broadcasting Network. And of course, I want to say a very special thank you to my producer this evening, Asaf Mohammed Esla. I do really appreciate your time and your efforts this evening. Just before we go on with the program, I want to briefly read something about our guest this evening. Reverend Daniel Yao Donkoh is a reverend minister, professional marriage counselor, motivational speaker, and philanthropist. He is the head pastor of Royal Believers Ministry, the Wisdom Center, and has branches across the country. He has been to almost all the reputable TV stations and radio stations in Ghana. D.Y. Donkoh, as part of his passion to receive the institution of marriage, happens to be the founder and team lead for Lovers Cottage. He has hosted over 50 conferences and has been a resource person for over 30 conferences across the country. He has a fan base of over 30,000 people across the globe. He is a married man and blessed with 4 beautiful children. Ladies and gentlemen, this evening, this afternoon, this morning, we are happy to have Reverend D.Y. Donkoh with us. Reverend Akwaba.
Yes, sir.
You're welcome, sir.
Yes, I salute, sir. I hope everybody's doing well.
We are very, very, very fine. And before we continue, I want to say that Rev has some books around, and I really want to introduce the books before we continue. Red Flags. I have my copy. I unfortunately left mine. Papers that I have inside making notes. I've been blessed. I started reading it, and it's called Red Flags. Science Relationship Has No Future. And also we have a second book here. And in the course of the program, really we want maybe open this particular book, The Words of the Wise. The Words of the Wise. And there are some nuggets in there. This evening, I was just going through it, and in the course of the program, I really would want us to go through it. In case you have need of any of the books that I just introduced to you, please contact the operators of Faith Broadcasting Network, or you could also reach out to Power of a Praying Woman's Network. Definitely, all the places that you can get the book will be forwarded to you. And of course, a book that was authored by my able wife, Discover God's Plan for Marriage. In case you have need of it, please do contact the operators of Faith Broadcasting Network, just like I said. I want to Rev. I would really want us to go straight to the business of the day. This evening we are discussing building to last. Um, uh, just to make survey not to realize most of thousands have different reasons why they intend to get married. Some intend to get married because of financial security. Some intend to get married because they want to give birth. They want to be mothers. They want to be fathers. Some also want to get married because of companionship. So the question I would want us to introduce this whole program with is, what is marriage about?
All right. So I greet everybody wherever you are by the grace of God. Until you understand why you want to build and have a plan to build, you don't start building.
Mm,
And I want to emphatically stress on that. Until you understand why. You see, when you go to buy a plot of land, the
mm,
first thing that comes into mind to buy the land is because you want to build.
mm,
And you cannot just build because you wish, you want to. You build because you have a plan to build.
yeah.
And that is why the other day Jesus said, if you start building and you don't count the costs, anybody who saw you build and then later on suddenly they saw you stop, they're going to sit back, look at you and say, he started, she started, but she or he could not complete it.
Mm,
So it is not enough to have a land. In other words, it is not enough to have a relationship. It
mm,
is not enough to fall in love, but it will be enough to have a plan, because what drives your relationship into marriage and marriage to do well, build to last, has to do with plan. And you
mm,
cannot plan without investments.
mm,
And I repeat, you cannot have a plan without investment. So you need to also understand that you build. By building, you are investing into your future and your shelter.
okay.
You build because you have a purpose, and you also build because you are investing into your future, not because of today. For example, if you rent, at the point, if you have money, you will understand that it is better to build than to rent. Because for you,
Mm,
renting takes a lot of money, but to be able to build or buy your own house, you feel like you are more secure. Now, let's take our scripture from Genesis chapter 2, verse 18. We cannot talk about marriage and not talk about God's word, because it is God who created marriage. Now, when you read the book of Genesis chapter 2, verse 18, the Bible says, the Lord God, the Lord God said, it is not good for the man to be alone. The Lord God, the creator of the universe, the I am God, said, it is not good for the man to be alone. We are talking about what is marriage.
mm-hmm,
Then the Bible continues to say that I will make a helper suitable for him, sir. A helper suitable. Now, when you go to your fashion designer or your tailor and they sew for you and it does not suit you, you can't wear it. When you go to a boutique, you go to a shop to buy an attire, or you buy a shoe, or anything you go to buy, it may look nice to your sight. It may look attractive to your sight, but once it doesn't suit you, you cannot wear. You know what you do? You return it. Returning it doesn't mean it is not nice, but it means that it is not your size and it doesn't fit you. The word suitable means it must fit you.
mm,
It must be according to you, your size, your shape, your figure, your expectation. And so God says that I'm going to create somebody who looks like you, understands your vision, who fits you, fits you, fits you, fits you. He has the same concern you have. He has the same purpose you have. He has the same dream you have. And so therefore, anybody you are going for who is not suitable, it doesn't match. So the fact that somebody looks good to you, very caring, somebody can be very giving, somebody can be very prayerful, suitable, but sometimes it may not adjust, it may not go according to your size. I have entered into the church to see people who are gifted, yet they were not good marriage material. They can sing, pray in tongues, probably in the prayer tower, or can be a gospel musician, somebody who sings in the church. And then the fact that they sing and they can pull down the presence of God and you feel good, you feel like, where they are, once I get married to this particular person, the way they are anointed, they can speak in tongues, I am done. But then you marry them, you realize that they are not suitable, they cannot fit my dreams, my vision, and my purpose. So what is marriage? Marriage is the blending of two hearts in love. Number one. Marriage is the blending. If you have ever come across a blender, I mean the machine the women use as a blender. So marriage has to do with the blending of two hearts in love. Now, if you are to blend tomato and onion together in the blender, and I come back and tell you that separate it, you can't. And so when God says that it will not be good for the man to be alone, but I need to make him suitable. I need to make him somebody who looks like God is saying that the person that comes to you must be equivalent to you, your expectation. In other words, the two of you come together and nothing separates you. And that is why the Bible says that that which God has joined together, no man, no woman should be able to separate it. So, number one, marriage is two hearts that is blended together in love. Number two, marriage is the blending of two souls together. Two souls. So physically, when we are married together in love. We are blended together in love. Spiritually, in marriage, when we marry, spiritually by soul, we are together. So marriage is physical and spiritual.
Yeah.
So marriage is not just by putting on the ring and by exchanging vows. You need to understand that the vows you exchange and the hand that comes from men of God that lay hands on you and pray for you, you need to understand it's so spiritual that the vows you make becomes a covenant before God. And so when you read 1 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 15 to 17, the Bible says that, don't you know that your bodies are the members of Christ? Shall I then take the members of Christ and unite them with a prostitute? No. In other words, Paul is saying that whoever goes to a prostitute and have sex, you may have the physical contact, but spiritually too, you are born with a prostitute. So Paul is trying to say that once you marry somebody, the two of you are born physically and spiritually, in soul, in spirit, and in body. Now, please, let me explain something. You need to understand that sex bound two souls together, and sex was created by God to be experienced and enjoyed in marriage. So sex is not for the ordinary men or the ordinary man or the ordinary women. Now, if I am to go back to what marriage is all about, it's very simple. Marriage is about God giving man a gift and a responsibility that they will give an account to God the day of his appearance, period. It's like when God has entrusted into your hands a garden and God says, take care, occupy until I come. And to him, he gave some 2, he gave some 3, he gave some 5 and 10. And when he returned, most of them went to him and said, Master, you gave us a little gift, but we've been able to add up. And the gentleman that was giving one came and said, Master, I am afraid of you because you can take even that which does not belong to you. And the master looked at him and said, you are such an ungrateful man. Even that which was given to you shall be taken from you, and it will be added to those who can multiply. In other words, when God entrusts someone's life into your hands, you need to add up. How do you add up? Number 1, you need to invest. So marriage does not become fruitful and successful until there is something I call the investment in marriage.
Okay.
Investment in marriage. So marriage may be good, but until you invest in it, you cannot enjoy it.
Okay.
Sir, so number 1, when you are building, you invest a lot of money into it. And you have a high expectation that the building turns out to be what you like. And at a point, when they build and you think that it does not turn out to be what you expect, you can command them and tell them to break it down so that you start again. Why? Because even though they did it, it is not your expectation. Then it tells you that marriage does not automatically become better. You work it out. You invest time into it. You make conscious effort that I am going to make it work. Why? Because in every marriage, there are challenges that comes with it. Number 1, you need to invest prayer. Invest prayer. If you are waiting to encounter problems before you pray, I am sorry that your prayer will be solving problems instead of securing the marriage. So spend time, invest prayer into your marriage. Couples that cannot pray together are playing together.
Oh, please take it
And
again.
they are just couples that cannot pray together. They are playing together. They are playing with their destiny. They are playing with the destiny of their children. They are playing with the purpose of God concerning the marriage. So invest prayer. Number 2, couples that want their marriages to become successful must invest in wisdom books. Read books about marriage to be able to understand the purpose of God about marriage. Couples that cannot read are not ready. When you are not able to read, it means you don't have enough skill. You don't have enough fuel to take the marriage to the next level. In all thy getting, get understanding. Why? Because wisdom is the principal thing. If you cannot invest wisdom into your marriage, you'll be winded. And you'll be winded. So you need to spend time by investment. Now, another way to invest in your marriage, to make marriage work, sir, is to make sure that you spend at least 5 minutes every evening, night of your time to talk, communicate your day to your spouse before you say good night. You make conscious effort. You make conscious effort. You make conscious effort. Another thing you need to do to make your marriage work, invest romance in your marriage. Invest it. It is an investment. You invest romance. When I say romance, I am not talking about sex. Romance is when you can kiss every day and yet there is no sexual intercourse. Romance is knowing how to treat your partner without insulting them, yet you don't agree with them.
Okay.
Romance is when you don't understand, but you still know how to go about the situation. You are too romantic. Being romantic is when you are able to exercise patience, control your temper. There are a lot of marriages collapsing because most of the couples are not romantic.
Mm.
They don't even spend time to ask each other, what would you like me to do to make you so happy, too happy, feel good of yourself? They won't ask. Once they enter with you to the bedroom, the next thing they think about is for me to penetrate. Sex is not what you did on bed. Sex is what you did after bed. Sexual intercourse can stir up orgasm. After orgasm, what again can you give to a woman as a man? If all you can give to a woman is sex, sir, you have failed. And that is not marriage. Should you go to the hospital, doctor tell you as a man that don't have sex with your wife the next 4 months, what can you do to make her feel better? Because marriage. Then we say that love is not how you feel. Love is having a purpose to understand who God has brought into your life. So, sir, I don't want to talk much into the investment part, but we want people to understand that marriage is spiritual, marriage is physical, and marriage has to do with the understanding God's purpose into your life. God does not just bring somebody to your life for sex, for children, and for pregnancy. God brings somebody into your life to fulfill a purpose. The reason why God brought Eve into the life of Adam, number one, to take care of the things he had created and entrusted it into the hands of Adam, not because of children. So when
Mm-hmm.
God was talking about multiplication, multiply, increment, increase, God wasn't just talking about children. Be fruitful. He was just saying that now you are two, you are no one. What one can do now, the two of you, one can chase 1,000, two of you can chase 10,000. In other words, I believe once I have entrusted this garden, my dream, my purpose, you guys are here to fulfill. That is why when you marry and there are no children and your wife is barren, you still should be able to fulfill God's purpose because it's more than giving children. So, sir, what is marriage? Marriage is when two souls and spirits, including body, is blended together. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Sofo. And so I gather from all the things that you said that um, marriage is not just for sex, it's not just for fun, it's not just for companionship, but there is a reason why God will bring two people together. And so, if Bible says he who finds a wife finds a good thing, does it mean that the person that I intend to marry should have the same vision as I have, or should buy into the vision I have, or it is not so important? Once I bring the person into my house, the person will automatically fall in line. I don't know. Can I come again?
Yeah, I think I understood part of it. You are trying to say, for example, you meet somebody, you feel like you are in love with the person, you bring the person
Mhm.
to the house, or you guys begin to date, and you feel like once we are together, we can be able to put or amend things or put things together, right?
Yeah. Even if the person doesn't buy into the vision I have, or even have the vision that I have in, doesn't even understand it. If there is love and I think I love her, she loves me, and she's able to do all the other things. Does it really matter?
Yeah, okay, so let me explain a few things here. Suitable. I will create for him a suitable mate.
Hmm.
Everything around you can be good, but you might not be good to somebody.
Okay.
Is it no wonderful that, sir, the very women some of us we rejected are now good wives to somebody else?
Of course.
The very men some women rejected are now somebody's, you know, good husband. And
Of course.
sometimes you wonder why the person left you, because then whilst you are in your broken hearted moment, somebody meets you and say, where have you been all this time? I have been looking for someone like you. My God, I thank God you were disappointed. If you were not disappointed, I wouldn't have met someone like you. So the question is, if somebody was looking for this particular woman, why is it that that same woman was not, somebody could not sustain her or keep her? You can be very good and look good on the outward in stature. You can be a very good gentleman, even a giver. But you might not fit someone's dream because she doesn't, like somebody's taller. Some things can appear. That is why the Bible says that there are ways that seems right unto man, but the end is death. God is trying to tell you that it is not everything that looks appealing, everything that looks charming, everything that looks calling, everything that looks good that is good for you. And that is why in the day Adam and Eve, the devil came and said, have you considered the fruit? Have you considered? It looked suitable, nice, sweet, appealing, attractive to the sight of the woman. But God says it has been forbidden. If somebody comes into your life and cannot understand your dreams, and I've been saying this, if your mind is your seat in a car and your heart is the engine of a car, you have betrayed your destiny ahead of time. The reason is very simple. If your engine capacity cannot make a car move, no matter the kind of fuel you put in the car, it can't go by itself.
Mm-hmm.
Your engine needs to be good. I know
Mm-hmm.
myself. My name is Counsellor D.Y. Donkoh. I know what I want. I know where I am going to. I know what God has said to me. I know the purpose of God. His ways are not my ways. As the heavens are higher than the earth, so the ways of God. Let me buy into the mind of God and understand what God has for me. So you see, we don't select a life, and I'm using strong words. We don't select a life partner. I'm not saying have a life partner by how we feel, because love is more than feeling. If you allow love to explain itself by feeling, you are going to make a choice by feeling. And you need to understand that when you make a choice by feeling, you die by carnality.
Yeah.
Why? Because love is more than how you feel. And that is why you don't love because of his gold watch. You don't love because of his material things, the car. You don't love because of the beauty, because beauty can fade. You love because the love you have for the person has a purpose. Jesus loved us, but it was not enough. He loved us with a purpose to come and die so that humanity can enjoy salvation.
Mm.
So his death and resurrection brought redemption to the church. Why? Because for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son, that whosoever believes in him will not perish. You will not. So the love of God cannot let you perish. That is why when you fall in love and the love makes you perish, it is not love. Why? Because love is an add up, not a subtraction. Love does not pin you down, it rather increases you.
Mm-hmm.
Your love life is your life. It doesn't matter how beautiful they look inside. Please, sir, if it doesn't fit your dream ahead of you, don't manage it. And I repeat, don't manage it. We don't manage affairs, we handle affairs. You manage because you consider, you handle because you have a purpose to it, and you are not letting it go. And that is why people can date 2-3 years and let it go, because they were just managing affairs, trying to see if it will work. But when it is in your hands, it doesn't matter the challenges and the storms that comes with it. You want to match with it. That is why Paul told Timothy that look for men that can run with the vision. Habakkuk also said it. So look for men that can write with the vision. Why? Because they need to handle the vision. They don't need to manage a vision. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Rev. Um, I believe that people are on, and at the right time we're going to give them the opportunity to ask questions. I would entreat anybody that is watching now to please share the link. Of course, many of us have come to know the amount of wisdom that God speaks through His servants anytime He's given opportunity. And I believe as you listen, you will learn something that you've not learned before. Because I was telling you the other time that anytime I listen to him, there is something that makes me wonder whether he is a human being. I mean, the amount of wisdom that he speaks is it's just amazing. So please do share the link. Do share the link. Invite people to come and listen to the information. I believe that it will save somebody's life. I believe it will save somebody's marriage. And of course, once the marriage and the life is saved, somebody's child is also going to be spared all the difficulties that children go through when marriages break down. I want to take this opportunity to just read a few comments that we've received. I think all the
Yes, sir.
things that has been written mostly is marriage is the blending of two hearts in love. Marriage is the blending of two hearts in love. I think most people have written that, re-echoed that thing that you said. Marriage is the blending of two parts in love. The first one was given to us by Esla Sechi Kofi, and the second was by Linda Amwa. And Linda Amwa came again and said, when God track someone's life in your life, you need to add up, spend time with each other and pray. Coming from same person. And Sister Esla came back and she wrote, couples that don't pray together, they are playing together. Couples that don't pray together, they are playing together. Mercy, Lord. And I think if you didn't hear anything this evening, I think it's one thing that you need to keep for yourself. It will save you a lot of pain. Mr. Francis said that I am really enjoying your teaching, Counselor. God bless you. Mr. Francis came back to say that purposeful love. And please, let's keep the whole program interactive. You can type in your questions if you have any. While the program is going on, we'll take the opportunity to let Counselor respond or react or speak to your questions. So, in your submissions, where we asked what marriage is about, you said that we should invest. One of the things that we should invest is prayer. One of the things that we should invest is time. One of the things that we should invest is also romance. Now, the question I want to ask now is, how relevant is intimacy in marriage?
Sir, come again.
The question I'm asking now is, how relevant is intimacy in marriage? Because you said that in your submission, in your earlier submission, you said that we should invest prayer, we should invest time with our spouses, we should invest romance. So, taking the romance and the time you mentioned, the question is, how important, how relevant is intimacy in marriage?
All right, so, sir, in marriage, intimacy is so important to God so much that even God is married to the church. Number one. So you need to understand that sex is not just an ordinary act. Sex creates bond physically and spiritually. And I want to say this and emphasize on it. Couples that opens up for sexual acts and enjoy sex very well, it is not easy for the enemy to come in with confusion and then misunderstanding. Now, listen to this, please. Paul spoke the other day and said, even if you are fasting or you are done fasting, go to your partner as soon as possible to have sexual intercourse so that the devil will not take an advantage to come in between you people. Why? Because when you give him a footstool, when you allow him just a little chance, the devil comes with and plans something evil. So Paul is trying to communicate to say that sex is so important to God that God created sex for the pleasure of men. And not just for the pleasure of men, but also for physical attraction.
No.
And trust me, if you want to have good communication skill, keep having sex with your spouse. Because even the act of sex itself is another level of communication. You don't do sex because of procreation. Sorry. You don't do sex because of procreation. You don't do sex because your family and those who came to the wedding expect you to, have children here and there. And once,
Mm.
1 year comes, 2 years, and nothing seems happening, they go like, hey, we want to question you. What is happening? Bearman on the Bearman, is the man not strong enough? Is the woman not, fertile? It's somewhere. And so because of that, once you marry, societal expectation, family expectation, friends expectation, the checks and expectation that there was somewhere when you're now. We don't sex only because of that. We also do sex, number one, because of physical attraction and also to communicate. Now, listen to this, it's wonderful. What you can't explain can be expressed through sex.
All right.
There are times you want to communicate with your spouse and you feel like they will not understand. Probably they are angry, they don't understand. The atmosphere is not good, and you feel like you can't say it. At times you even start communicating with them, and then some way, somehow they feel angry, or they are angry, and they feel like they behave as if they don't want to listen. Please, just make sure you push them into the mood of sex. While they are in the mood, start talking. They will listen. They have no choice, because when an environment is conducive, pressure is lowered.
Okay.
Sex brings openness. You cannot be having sex, baby. And once you're having sex, baby, you are lying. You can't look at the face of your partner, have sex and lie. If you can do that, you are wicked. And you are not called by God. So sex activates openness. And if you can watch couples that live long, and they come out to say probably we've been married for 20, 30 years, most of them are very, very, very close in terms of intimacy sexually. They do sex anytime, and the more you do sex, the more open you become. When you do sex all the time with your partner, number one, because it is a healthy soul tie. Number one, God can even bless you for fulfilling the desire of your spouse. If you don't know today, I want to say this. When you decide not to have sex with your partner just because you want to punish them, it is sin against God.
Okay.
Biblically, it is a sin against God. Anyway, before we go to the sin and quote scriptures here, you need to also understand that sex is an exercise. Even though children are needed, sex in your life is important because it helps you. It helps the brain to work, the hand to work. You can't have sex and none of your body part will be involved. And that is why most often after sex, you feel tired. You feel like you should just go to bed. It's like a knockout drug. Why? Because the blood, everything, every part of you will be working. I don't want to talk about sex, but then I just want to explain a few things here and there. Every part of your body will be working. If you do one sex for the days, it is better than going for walk for the next 1 hour. And so sex is not just for the pleasure. The pleasure is important, but you're also exercising the body. And so I keep telling couples that even if you don't want to have sex, learn how to touch your partner 3 times a day. You can touch the breast. Sorry, you can touch the breast just by playing with her. You can touch. You can just give a kiss. Just make sure you touch your partner 3 times a day. It brings a lot of bond. Not just the sexual act is important, but learn how to touch. Try new things every day by touching your partner in different ways. Sometimes you just have to hit the back, and go like, babe, Charlie, now come on, hey, Charlie, now I want to come on, Charlie. And then she feels, wow, he appreciate my butt. If you're a lady, learn how to kiss your husband. But at least learn how to, embrace and kiss. I mean, kiss us. Even in the day you think we are in our weak moment and we've done something wrong, give us a kiss and encourage us. Look at us and say, listen, it shall be well. You will make it. It is well. Forget about the mistake. Push, encourage us. But you see some of the women, even when in the moment when the atmosphere has been created and you were about to make love, you've done the kisses and you're like, oh, it's not better. Say, and you're on. So you have on. Now, if you say, and ra, as some like a shop, who is a shame on? Who is a shame on? I am in your pastor. No. You must know when to talk and when not to talk, when to respond to an issue and when not to respond. And that is why emotional maturity is important in marriage.
So, this thing that you are saying, I don't know whether we can break in our, based on what you just said, bring out a question. We were dealing with a family, and the lady said that she's not the person that can easily come out when she's hurt, and so most of the times when, and she won't also say that I won't allow my husband to make love to me. And so it is when the husband is making love to
Are you
her,
talking about
when
initiation? Like she cannot initiate sex?
no, it's not about initiating sex, but when she has been hurt by the husband, she can't speak it out. But it is when she allows her husband to make love to her whilst the act is going on. Usually, it is around that time that she's able to come out and tell the husband, "You did this the other time and it hurt me." Do you think it's a bad thing?
Okay, so let me explain a few things here and there by the grace of God for our viewers to understand that sex is healthy. In the atmosphere of sex, or in an atmosphere of sex, when you are ready to make love, you don't talk about negativities because it kills your drive.
Okay.
It kills your drive. It kills it. It kills it. For example, we have argued on a matter, and to disagree on a matter doesn't make your partner less, because we are coming from different angles, different world. So you need to understand that we agree to disagree. I may not understand you, may not understand me sometimes, but we are still on a journey to get to our destination. Now, when an atmosphere has been created and we want to have sex, that is nowhere to refer me about the lies. That is nowhere to ask me for school fees. That is nowhere to talk about what happened 1 week ago. Sister, can you wait? When we are done with whatever we're doing, then you can talk about it. Now, I want to chip in something. The emotions of every woman is connected, or their sexual drive is connected to their emotions.
Okay.
A man can be hurt and still perform sexually once he makes up his mind that he wants to do. But women, most of them, their sexual drive and pattern is connected to their emotions. But every woman must understand that because you are not married to a perfect man, he cannot always be a perfect man for you. So then, if your expectations are unrealistic, too much at a point, you feel like your husband has not lived to the expectation, therefore, he's not a good man. I am coming down to say something that will shock you, man of God. Most people are hurt in marriages. Most people are broken-hearted in relationships, not because their partner is not good, but it is because they have too high, no, the expectations are too high. When you set up an expectation for yourself, even though I am good and I am not able to make it, you think I am not a good man. And that is why a lot of people lose good people in relationships and they choose wrong people into marriages.
Okay.
If your expectation towards me is too high, at a point you feel like, no, this is not what I bargained for. This is not what I'm looking for. This is not what I
Yeah.
know I ought for. But you need to understand that you are dating a human being and not God. Let
Mm-hmm.
all men be liars, and God remain the truth. In other words, to man, because we are very carnal, we may fear God, love God, we may be endowed with the power of the Holy Spirit, but because I am not perfect, I can make mistakes here and there. It doesn't make me a
Yeah.
wrong partner. I am still perfect,
Yeah.
but for you, because your expectation is too high, it affects you. So women must understand that when we create an environment for love making and we are about to do something, you don't talk about the past. Wait, when we are done, then you can express how you feel and how you felt. But
Mm-hmm.
in a some women can right right in the action, in the in the moment of sex, they can go like, so now you are making love to me. I asked you for 10,000 Ghana. Where is the money? What you are doing it to? Where is the money? Sir, but I told you I didn't have. So you didn't have, but sex in there, you can do it, right? You told me you didn't have, but sex there, you are doing it. And you are looking at me, look at your face. This one is a killer. This one is a killer. Now, have you realized that most often, most men, 99%, when they are making up, they don't like talking much.
Mm.
They want to focus and hit their target and make the woman feel good. And then also they feel
Mm-hmm.
good. But women, when they are doing sex, I haven't said anything. Hey, whilst they are doing the sex, they want, babe, are you not talking? Why are you quiet? Then you go like, please keep quiet and like, I won't keep quiet. Talk. I am watching. I see yeah. Talk. Want to talk? Talk. Okay, so even though there is a level of communication skill in making love, we also need to understand that even though you want to communicate, sex time or making love time is not when to discuss negativity or negative things. It kills the atmosphere. So please, we will beg and encourage everybody that please, if you want to make love to your partner, you can be hurt and disagree. But when it comes to love making, open up. Right after that, you can cuddle each other and talk about issues here and there. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So, on the same question, so this particular woman who is not able to voice her feelings when she's hurt, but can only do it whilst making love. What would you advise her that she try and speak to the husband or see a counselor or what? Because as a matter of fact, it's a problem that was presented to us, and we gave our token of advice. But we also want to hear
Say,
from you.
say, the excuses in marriages are too much, sir. Two people must be matured before they enter into marriage. Number two, sir, we need to understand that these two people, they should be friends, sir. We also need to understand that there should be a bond, and there is always a bond, and there is already a bond by exchanging vows. Now, if your husband
Mm-hmm.
is and you are afraid to express your hurt, then I mean, what
Mm-hmm.
kind of wife are you? You need to be able
Okay.
to communicate. Your husband is not, Onyeka Kaisa. You should not be afraid. You should rather respect. You should honor. You should be able to hold him in a high esteem. But the fact that you respect him doesn't mean your husband is kakai, somebody you can't talk to at all, who you can't express yourself at all. Then I'm sorry to tell you, you are a slave. You are not a wife. A wife must be submissive, but not a slave. In other words, you also
Mm.
have a place to contribute. You also have a place to express how you feel. So I am pleading with her by the mercies of God that keeping bitterness in you does not make you better, but it makes you pure. So please speak out, talk out, but apply wisdom so that you don't end up offending your husband. Thank you.
Thank you very, very, very much. We want to please, like we said, please share the link. We've had people come on. You're doing well. Please do well to share the link. Let people come and learn. It is important. We're having so many divorces, many divorces, and some of these informations that we are being given this evening. If the people that are divorcing possibly had these informations, they wouldn't have opted for divorce. And so, please do well to share. You never know who you'll be saving or a marriage you'll be saving. Please do well to share, and we want to encourage you to continue to be interactive. When I've exhausted some of my questions, I'll come back to the questions that I'm receiving. I'm receiving a couple of messages here, and I'll definitely read them out so that Rev speaks to it. Um, we are discussing building to last, and in responding to the question I asked, you said that partners should honor each other. How do I honor my partner? As a husband, how do I honor my wife? Is it that I should buy her a tiara or something? Should I take her to put her on Facebook that that it will mean that I'm honoring her? How do a wife honor the husband?
All right, so personally, for me as a professional counselor, I want to say this and say it again to everybody who's listening and watching us. Please, it is not important. It will not be important to celebrate your wife, your husband on social media, yet still lie and cheat on them. And I repeat, showing the world who your husband is, it's not by putting them on social media. Showing the world, number one, how your husband, how good they are, how you love them, how you cherish them, has nothing to do with Facebook. Because you can Facebook your partner and still book face them at your back. Number one, to be able to appreciate your spouse, help them when it comes to the things you do in the house chores. Help them wash, help them clean. Don't think that it's the duty of the wife alone to cook and sweep and wash. No, marriage is not like that. If we want to go by the biblical standard, by the biblical standard of God, then we need to understand that God created a man and gave him authority over everything. But God only said it is not good for a man to live alone. Let me create for him a suitable. In other words, man, do it. I am bringing somebody just to support. If somebody came to support, you don't leave everything to the hands of the person who has come to support. You do it yourself. So then we come back to say that marriage is a teamwork. If we want it to work, it is the duty and the responsibility of both to make it work. It is not the duty of one to make it work. And the only way you can appreciate and respect your spouse, number one, Bemano or Bano, please, if you are help clean the case, help wash the dishes, help lay the bed sheet, help sweep the house, clean the help. Kill your ego small, Mr. Man ego. Kill it. Your wife is not your slave. She is your suitable mate, partner. So number one, to be able to honor and appreciate help around the house. Number two, appreciate them in all the little things they do, including paying bills, cooking for you, washing for you, and even making love to you. Appreciate them. Jack, some you can say 3 years in it will be being there. Now every 2 days, thank you is enough. Count your blessings and name them one by one, and you know what the Lord has done. You look at your wife, you look at your husband and say, thank you for giving me beautiful and handsome children. The wife must learn how to appreciate the husband appreciating the wife. Some days, sometimes, some way, somehow, you may not even give housekeeping money, but then she's able to cook, to put food on the table. You just came and then for you, food is ready. You ate it without saying thank you, sir. I'm sorry. Learn how to say thank you to your wife, because most of the wives also go through pain to be able to put food on the table. Your husband, for all these years, he's been able to cater, pay for fees, pay water bill. He's doing extremely wise. Look, husband, take your husband out. Don't wait for your husband to do all the romantic act by taking you out to one big restaurant. Who could do you now, me? Say, baby, thank you for treating me good. Yes, so treat us good. Now, yes, so you're a person. We deserve it.
Yeah.
Do you know what the man goes
Yeah.
through to pay bills and pay school fees? And there are times men come home broken-hearted, and yet they won't talk, they won't speak. And the fact that a man is not speaking doesn't mean everything is well and okay. Sometimes they are broken, but they are just believing God that it is well with our soul. Say thank you to the little things. When my wife comes home, and most of the time I get home very late, and when I get home and she comes to open the gate, thank you. Imagine she decided not to open because of anger. If I can't come at the mama diachi, because key no one in chain inside. So when she opens, walking from the room, just walking to open, say thank you, my wife. Thank you very much. Appreciate little things must be appreciated. What is this? So I bought it for you, sir. So you didn't get anything better to buy for me than this? So another way to honor a wife and a husband, please appreciate the little things. The next thing to appreciate them with, please, don't kill their self-esteem by your words. Speak positive things into their lives. Even when they are not doing well, look at them and tell them, sweet, you've been a good wife, you've been a good husband. But I can't push a little bit, and I think you are the best. I thank what God gave you to me. And to make on pass away at the nature. Don't go and stand there and go like, my husband, you know what? I have regretted getting married to me, don't you, man? I wish I knew what this is. Like, I won't marry somebody like you. Somebody like you, and you have 3 kids, 3 children. Somebody like you with 2 kids. You don't talk like that because you are angry. Speak positive words. It's a sign of honor and appreciation. And above all, if you want to appreciate your partner, don't lie to him or her about your finances. Don't, sir. Don't. You cannot love these 2 God. The God who created the heaven and the earth, and mammon, the love of money. You choose one and love the other, or love the other one and choose one. If you meet a couple, a husband or a wife, that loves money than his marriage, he's only a parent, not a partner. You can be parents, helping to raise children, but it is better to be partners, becoming parents to raise children. When you are, you reason, you think, you support together, you move together. But when you are parents, you are just helping to raise children. You are not together. So financially, when another party decides to hide his money from you and not to open up and pretend not to have all the time, so that we can use child support money or child supporting money, hey, you are dead. Now, child supporting money about husband, when you say I am a man, you are not a man, you are still a boy. Be responsible. Now, I say, well, you decided she's taking over to help. I said, oh, yeah, job on it. So, she can be a baby, shall be a swimmy. And they are watching Ropa. Who sit down will chroma tell us you are building in your hometown so that we know that you are on agenda, you are doing a project. A lot of men cannot be faithful to their wives when it comes to their finances. Yet, to their girlfriends, they are open. You cannot build to last. When I go to work and I get money, and then whether it's in an envelope, a wallet, what I have a particular place I go home and I put the envelope. I don't open it. I don't care how much is in it. Bram. It is conscious effort. I know I have a wife who will not take my money, go and buy Brazilian hair 7 different times, so that tomorrow we will choose stone. She's already thinking of the future. So when I go and I put the money down, she wakes up and say, envelope on my kind, be a woman, be the way quiet shopping, I provision, now be the way so I to bank accounts. So and then they say, but you don't keep money in your pocket. Babe, see, when your wife always come to every man, listen, when your wife always come to you to ask money, but cannot take money, you have limited her rules. And I repeat, when your wife come to ask you for money but cannot take money, you have limited her role as a wife. A wife is you. Your wife should be able to take money and not ask money, because the money is for you both, not
Both.
only you alone.
Yeah.
So when your wife can say, "Kwajo, be patron, can make it 20 Ghana," and you are so happy, I am the man. If I don't give you today, they will eat. My God. Don't be happy. You have failed. She must be able to enter your pocket, enter your wallet, enter your bedroom, enter into your bank account, have your ATM card, go there and cash money because of the family and the future of the family. If only she's an industrious woman. So, sir, these are some of the little things you can do to honor and appreciate your spouse. Stop eating at least a fibia, go out 3 times or twice, or even a month once. Go out, take your partner out, whether from the woman or from the man. Go sit in a good restaurant, eat and talk. Go out small, go out. Go and spend £50, $20, $15. Go out. Go sit out. Take some drink and talk. Every month, that is what I do with my wife. We go out, sit, and she goes like, "Can we talk about our marriage?" Yes. So this month, I didn't like this and that. Last week, the whole year, I think that this year you didn't do well because you didn't give us more. You didn't do this. You didn't care much. You were too busy. I think that this year has been one of the best year. We talk about it. And you start here and say, "Hey, listen, this year you don't be ungrateful. I have done a lot. I'm telling you." No, keep quiet and listen. Once she's done, you also come in and say, "This year I think that you didn't do well. You didn't talk well. You didn't take care of me." Every year you have an agenda and a plan towards the marriage to make it move to the next level. So another way to appreciate each other is to take each other out. £100 to be because the strength and the ability of the marriage will depend on the closeness, the openness, the loyalty, the transparency, and the faithfulness that you share. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I see a lot of people coming around. Sister Linda Amwan says that there's no perfect man out there. Manage your marriage and husbands well. And I have Prince Edigby saying that nice one, boss. And I also have Mr. Jan Odenaho saying that good evening. Good evening. We are enjoying ourselves this evening. Reverend Donkoh, we appreciate you so much. Now, I want to just ask some follow-up questions. But before I ask the follow-up questions, if you first join us, we are discussing this evening building to last, building to last. And Sopho started by saying that any person who starts to build will have to be ready to invest, and we've gone through a lot of things that you need to do so that you'll be able to build to last. Now, we just asked the question and want to have a follow-up question, Rev. What if in honoring your partner, you buy a gift for him or her, and possibly your partner wants things like what to wear to be in a particular way that it will be just her size. It shouldn't be too small or just a bit bigger. You buy it for her with the intention that you just want to show love, and yet she doesn't appreciate it. One. Then there's also a second question I want to ask so that you just take time to address the both questions. Now, the issue of finance. Now, you say that in honoring our partners, we should not tell lies where finance is concerned. What if your partner just wastes money and you want to be careful so that in the near future you don't go begging or you don't find yourself in a situation where you'll be miserable, and so you want to just save some money somewhere, because at the end of the day, whenever she sees money on you, whenever he sees money on you, he tries to find a reason why the money should be spent.
Matter. Who is a wife? That is the first question we should ask. Who is a wife? You know, many of us, I'm not sure we are married to good wives. I think we just went to carry somebody's daughter.
Mm,
So that, yes, so no, we will know that we have somebody in the house or woman.
mm,
So, number one, I really want people to understand that, number one, a wife is a worker at home.
mm,
A wife is a worker at home. In other words, she supports the house. She makes sure
mm,
that things are in order in the house.
mm,
Who is a wife? A wife is somebody who treats you like a king as a man. They treat you, make you feel good like a king. Who is a wife? A wife is somebody who is able to handle financial affairs.
mm,
Sikasemono, okurani ye.
mm,
Now, if you go to marry a woman who sees money all the time, and once they see money, they just want to spend it, and then it means that they've killed the future ahead of time.
mm,
Every industrial, sensible, intelligent, diligent woman who wants the best for the future or wants the best for the husband and the kids will not just spend money just like that because she saw money, but rather money, sees money, and rather invest. If you have a partner who sees money all the time and want to just waste the money, I'm sorry for you. This kind of wife, I don't know where you go take her from. This one is not suitable for you, unfortunately. And that is why love is more than your emotions, how you feel about a woman. Because a good wife must be able to save, that in the days of her time, she's even able to cook and bring food to the table. And so, if a man start hiding his money, if a man start hiding few things here and there, then it tells us that the way the woman arranges things and put things together doesn't match for him. For me, unfortunately, that man is going to, go through a lot of things here and there. But if you get a godly woman, that is the word, a godly wife. If you have a godly wife, a woman who understands the purpose of her coming into your life, she can never be a waster. As a matter of fact, when I was dating, I remember I wanted to do show tangas off. So anytime I was going out with her, Charlie, you're for dropping. And she goes like, you don't know what you use money for, right? Dropping for
mm,
what? Because many about all the go now, Charlie. Or say here 10. Also those days in the hair on the episode 18 inches. And yeah, better so or say here on this she looks taller than me. So I felt like my God. You know when you meet a woman, you feel like my God, the world belongs to you.
mm,
So when we are going out, we are by the roadside. So no. The person, my man who said, level now be the abandon, you different, no. Because already she was dating a medical doctor, and I remember Koji. Remember Koji, no, some the championship, from Dansum and Akugo photo to be mafia. We are so far dropping us, you don't know what to use money for, right? Ah, when you take her to a restaurant, when we take one Coke, one Fanta, one meat pie, let's share the meat pie. I'm like, Charlie, ain't any
Wow.
beer you. I'm like, And she said, so when are we getting married? I said, she said, then start saving money towards it. And don't gather money to buy everything. Buy things little by little. Kakra, kakra. Give yourself 1 year or 2 years. You would have been able to buy most of the things you want to marry me with, the engagement things. A man of God. There are times I call, I say, I feel lonely. I want us to go and sit at the beach. She go like, beach. Okay, yes, listen. Ufri dan suma call about the air. And then when we go there, we buy drink, right? And we buy food, right? By the time you back about now, about 300 Ghana, right? No, there's no need. If you like, let me buy fast food from my end and then come to you and bring it to you so that you eat. And then we talk. We can sit anywhere and talk around that. So, like, gay, or you crashing the
And so cool living.
But so eventually, here I am. Here I am. When we were getting married, I remember I wanted to do two. I said, the wedding, dear Charlie, your wedding garden is for what? Why do you want to waste money to do this and that and that? Let's do it simple. Because when after marriage, we need to buy a land and build. If we allow the people to come and celebrate us, eat and go, and then we rent all our lives, one day they'll look at us and say, well, no wedding, and no more they can't see or no. You cannot marry after wedding, and then the photographer is still chasing you for his money. And so, if you marry an industrious, sensible, hardworking, godly woman, you need to understand that thank God is a blessing for you. But if you marry the one who has to waste money, one of the character of the devil is a waster. Then a woman who is a waster, I don't want to go there and say, but I think that is a bad attitude. That must be dealt with and correct. Now let's go to the next one. You were talking about buying the person what dress that is bigger than her, right?
Yeah.
And she doesn't appreciate it because it is too big.
Yeah. Or too small.
Okay, so listen, or too small. Now let me tell you this: it doesn't matter how many years you live with a wife. Sometimes you will get her size wrong. I have been married for years. So for listen, and this is my life. I have been married for years, and for all these years, my wife has never bought a pant or a nightie before, or brassiere before. There is no birthday she has celebrated without me doing a shopping of panties, nighties, and brassiere. Because I know her size. Just last year, I know her size. I went to do shopping brassiere. I bought I think I bought 8 different types of braziers. I took it. She will put it on and remove it and say, Beshe, now they're not working then. I didn't call you. Now I don't know get this. So I go like, the same size. So now they wouldn't be a. So she said,
Okay.
wait. So I directed it. She brought it back. Yet previously, 2, 3, 4 years ago, and you so you need to understand, as human as we are, we can't always get your size. You know, recently myself, I went to a shop to buy a shoe. So I bought the shoe myself. I wear size 45. I got home and the shoe did not fit me. I brought it back and the guy said, this is 45 close. It's almost similar to 44. So you did 45 open. Even myself, 45, I got it wrong. And so our wives will understand that we can. So don't let me go and buy it, bring it and go like, What am I all these years? You've been with me all these years. Don't you know my size? Don't you know my size? So we can't always, even you. There are times you buy things you bring. It doesn't fit you well. It is either it is too small or big. And then you return and go and pick your size. So even you, sometimes you get it wrong. Please don't create issues out of this. These are not important things to create issues about. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We've been here for a while, and in no time we'll be ending to this evening's session. As a matter of fact, we have a lot of questions that we should ask. I'm pleading with you, Sofo, that we'll make time to come back to just continue this same question, this same topic, building to last, because I'm not sure we've been able to go through even a quarter of the questions that was given to me by the producer.
I know.
Because most of the questions I asked were just follow-up questions from the answers you were given. So we didn't really go through all that was given me. If you will, just speak to in-laws and in marriage for maybe 2 minutes. Then we'll go back to your books, and because I really want us to look at the words of the wise. Maybe you take time to elaborate two or three of the things that you wrote in there. But if you will, just speak to in-laws, how important they are. For example, in Akan, we say that "Yɛware abusua." When you get married, you don't just get married to the individual, you get married to the whole family. And so, how important are in-laws? To what extent can they be allowed into our marriages? And should we build hedges such that mother-in-laws are not able to come visit? I mean, just take a few minutes to speak to it, and we'll take time to go through the books, and yeah, maybe you help us with some of the things written in there, please.
Okay, so we need to understand that it is good to have in-laws. It's very, very good. Very, very good. It's good to have in-laws. But we also need to understand that marriage is a teamwork. Now, talking about boundaries, I really want people to understand that couples, we choose ourselves first, and
Mm,
then our in-laws are the second parties. God spoke and said, you should leave your father's house
mhm,
and your mother's house so that you will go and join yourself. Go and join. In other words, once you are matured enough, there is a place to go
mm.
to start another journey.
Okay.
Now, in-laws, now let me explain a few things here. In-laws are not just about the father and the mother of the woman, the father and the mother of the
Mm,
man. Even the sisters and the brothers of the man and the woman are in-laws.
mm,
The aunties and the cousins, they are all in-laws. Now, we need
mm,
to understand that once we are married, we are starting a new life, and we set boundaries who comes in and who go out. Even if we still have our parents, but even if somebody want to visit us, we determine how many days and weeks and months they stay. Unfortunately,
mhm,
some couples, especially some of the men, because of their ego, will not most often discuss anything with their wives. And then suddenly you see the mother of the man comes or the father of the man comes, and then the man says, Papa, why obey 1 month? My father. And so, and the woman goes like, so why didn't you tell me? And goes like, if you're
mm.
in the media, are you the man or I am the man? I am the man. So I decide what I want to do. It's an insult. Now, anytime you disrespect your partner, you have allowed the in-laws to take him or her for granted. Even though they are important, You need to also understand that it is not everything happening in the marriage that must go to your in-laws. Why? Because some of the things happening can be solved by maturity, and you don't need parents, your in-laws, to come in. Even though they are a blessing to us, the devil can also use some of them as a medium and a tool to fight your marriage. If everything in your marriage goes to your in-laws, I'm sorry to tell you that you are not matured enough.
Mm.
And so I keep telling people that no matter what happens in your marital affairs, don't betray your spouse to your parents.
Okay.
Don't betray the nakedness of your spouse to your parents. As long as you think that this issue can be traced out, amicably, can be settled amicably, and then maybe we might come back and marry again. Please be careful what you tell your parents, because if you are to come back again, your parents can be using that to fight against your partner. So your in-laws are important. So they are so important that you can't throw them away. Nevertheless, we must make sure that we have boundaries set, that there are things we don't call them and tell them. So I wrote something. I said, establish your own family space and energy.
Mm.
And I repeat, establish your own family space and energy. Establish it. It's
Mm.
a boundary. Nobody. My mother comes to visit me until today, and she calls me and say, "Oh, Oba." Then I tell my wife, "Sisi," I call my mother Sisi. Sisi wants to come and visit us, and then a Sunday we want to have a family time. I'm like, "Oh, my name bra. No beko da be. Obeko ochina. Ah, okay, okay. My name bra no ochina so no ko. Ochina no beko." Because we also,
Mm.
it is not wickedness. We also want to have our
Mm-hmm.
family, because you are your
Mm-hmm.
family with my father, and that is
Mm-hmm.
how you got us. And so we need
Yeah.
our privacy. So I said, establish your own family space and energy. Don't disregard the advice of the other party and say, work
Mm.
with your spouse, work with her to be able to keep your family. Especially the men. This one I'm talking to the men. Don't force the relationship. When I say don't force the relationship, some men will force their wives and say, Chinachi, what do you mean, mommy? When you're close friends. What friend me, mommy? What friend me, papa? What do you mean, papa? When you're close. You see the way you don't like. No, don't force it. Your in-law, they don't just, the vibe is not there. They are not just, they don't vibe. The connection is, even though the respect is there, please allow your wife or your husband to deal. Don't first say, call my father. Why was the last sister got married to you? 1 year now. You have not called. You only send a message. Call. Please don't force any relationship. Yeah, why do we are sure what you? Now, if your
Mm.
husband or your wife want to call you, say, hello, mommy, I just called to check. Praise God. But don't be forcing them. Don't force your wife or your husband. Have you called my brother in America? Have you called my brother in Germany, the one in Accra, Kumasi? Hey, don't force it, please. Enjoy and enjoy your marriage. And set boundaries and limits. Set it. Set it. So please, and then you don't set it and force the boundaries. Enforce it. The boundaries, enforce it. And please, place limitations. Africa for your problem. A white man and a woman married, you cannot just walk to them without a call.
Yeah.
You can't. Miss Africa, most of us, we have a problem. You cannot even visit your own friend in abroad. And just know that I was just passing by and I felt like passing here. Hey, Massa, they'll bang the door on you because you are not welcome.
Yeah.
But the Kuruma who are no be now of here. I was we will get now. Ah, now me. I see no be. Oh, I know I see a baba. Oh, I know I see a baba. Eh, why? Eh, mammy, Adia. Oh, now me say me best. Mammy, but you didn't call. Say I know you'll be home. That's why I came. No.
Yeah.
Sit your mother down without disrespect and say, Mommy, whenever you are coming, please call us. Because sometimes we may not be home and we have a lot to do as couples. So please, even though In-laws are important. They are lovely. We are supposed to love them, appreciate them. We also need to understand that if care is not taken, we don't set boundaries and implement the limits or the limitations on the boundary. If you don't take care, they can come in and and it is not everything you call home papa, everything you call home papa. Oh yes, sir, you are selling the other party. And at the point, it will not be good, it will not be healthy for all of you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. As a matter of fact, you've been such a blessing to us this evening. Unfortunately, time is fast spent, and I really wanted to, based on your submissions on the in-laws, I wanted to ask some questions because I just as you were speaking, a lot of questions kept coming, and of course, there are people that we deal with who have real bad experiences with their in-laws, and sometimes they come to us, because of the work that we do. And I really would have wanted you to speak to some of these things, but we pray that we get the opportunity again to host you here so that you speak to those problems. I believe that by the grace of God that works in you, you'll be able to help them with wisdom field answers so that they implement it to make their home peaceful. We
Amen.
appreciate you so much. So, but just before we
Amen.
just before we go, um, uh, I want to say for those of you who were not here when we started, that our guest this evening has two books already in the market. The first one is Red Flags, Signs Your Relationship Has No Future. Signs Your Relationship Has No Future. It's a book you need to read if you're about getting married, even if you're married and you are facing some difficulties. There are things in there that will help you. And the second book I have in my hand here is The Words of the Wise. The Words of the Wise. And in case you are interested in getting the book, if you watch down at the bottom of the screen, some numbers has been written in there. Please do well to write the numbers down, reach out, and you get hold of any of the books. I would suggest that you get both. But also, quickly, there is this thing that you wrote here. I was going through this book this evening, and it's very powerful. And I just want you to take maybe just a minute, because of our time, just a minute to speak to it. Wisdom number 94. Strength doesn't come from physical capacity; it comes from an indomitable will. Make up your mind, be strong, such that no one is able to influence you. What informed this particular pill or tablets in 94?
So many of us are set for a vision, set to have dreams, set with purpose, but eventually people can easily thwart our intentions towards their direction simply because our minds are not made strong.
Mm,
A strong mind will not mind what the weak mind tells him or her.
okay.
And so you need to understand that life belongs to the strong minded people, not the weak minded people. Many people have lost the vision simply because somebody influenced them by the act of words. You are not strong. When you are strong mentally, you make decisions that nobody can convince you, and you are persuaded that this very thing I have set up my mind to achieve cannot be terminated by anything, not even the forces of this world. So then I wrote and said, please don't be persuaded by the voice of people, how they criticize you, and the things they say about you. Focus and be strong mentally
Hmm.
because you can.
Hmm.
That's all.
Thank you very much. Also, our time is almost up. Our time is almost up. Please do well. There are so much wisdom, so much wisdom in this book, The Words of the Wise. Please do well to reach out, get a copy for yourself. It will save you a lot of pain. It will help you in deciding and, of course, staying focused. Like I said, this other book, Red Flags, signs your relationship has no future. Please do well. And of course, in case you want Counsellor D.Y. Donkoh to come to be a speaker or to come in any way to minister to you. Of course, he's the minister of the gospel first, then a counselor. If there is anything that you would want him to come do as a minister in your church, on your platform, whatever it is, please, you can contact the numbers at the bottom of the screen, and definitely you're going to be blessed. I want to say a very big thank you to all of you who decided to come this evening to listen to all these wisdom that God is speaking through his servants. Sarah Archer is watching and she says, God bless you. Francis Kofi says, God bless you. Linda Moore says, God bless you dearly. Amen. A man of God. I've really enjoyed the teachings this evening. I also quickly want to say that there is a book here that has been authored by my wife, Pastor Joyce Ohinamwa. Discover God's plan for marriage. Marriage is a blessing, not a curse. If you are interested in getting a book, of course, there are so many nuggets that by the grace of God was putting together. Please, if you need, you can reach out to us with the numbers that are at the bottom of the screen. And of course, if you want to go to all the online shops, you will definitely get the books. I want to say a very big thank you to Counsellor D.Y. Donkoh. He's my akonta. For those of you who don't know, I want to say thank you so much, so for being
Thank
you.
you.
I know you're a very
Thank
busy
you.
person. For the mere fact that you honored our invitation this evening. I know that though you've gone to all the heights that God will take you, you still honor every invitation that is extended to you, and we take it not for granted. We appreciate the oil of God on your life, and we also appreciate you that you still make time to come to as anytime you're invited. God bless you for everything and that you are doing for the kingdom of God. I also want to say a very big thank you to all the viewers, all of you who stayed, for all of you who sent your questions, but I wasn't able to read. Please pardon me. I believe that we are going to have yet another opportunity to come to discuss building to last. And finally, I want to say thank you to the owners and operators of Faith Broadcasting Network, and of course, to my able producer this evening, Sister Esla Sechi. God bless you. God willing, by the grace of God, will come your way next 2 weeks again. We say God bless you from myself and from my wife's side. We say have a very good evening, have a very good morning, have a very good night, have a very good afternoon wherever you are. God bless you. Bye bye.